radiation. A sister experiment was flown on the commercial flight Polaris Dawn recently, and we will compare, or the researchers will compare that with the samples that are coming back from ISS. This is also the first mission using new hardware for this experiment. The second experiment I want to highlight that's going to be flying on the vehicle with the crew is Genes in Space. This is also flying through the ISS National Lab, and this is a student experiment. Their Genes in Space program partners students with practicing scientists to study genetics on ISS. This one is taking a look at how spaceflight may activate retrotransposons. So these are mobile fragments of genetic code that insert themselves into host DNA. This is a common occurrence, but when it's inserted into disadvantageous regions, this can cause issues. Here on the ground, it can lead to different diseases, including things like cancer. So understanding the behavior of how these activate and may behave in microgravity or could be induced by stress responses could shed light on potentially some genetic risks or how this mechanism works. So this particular experiment is going to be looking at both the mechanism as well as a new way of imaging these segments of DNA. And then Dina also mentioned the plant habitat experiment. This is going to be outgrowing our outrageous red romaine lettuce, and it's going to be under several different water stress conditions. So we're going to be looking at drought, flooding, and then alternating drought and flooding, where we basically rescue a plant after it has experienced drought, and then normal conditions as well. So we'll be taking a look at how that impacts the plant overall, as well as the microbiology of the plant.
Thank you so much. Interesting science as always. Let's now bring in Bill, again joining us virtually from SpaceX headquarters in Hawthorne, California. Bill, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you fine, and it's great to be with you today. Again, on behalf of the SpaceX team, it's really a privilege to be part of this amazing activity on board Space Station and these crew rotation flights. As we talked about earlier and the teams talked about, the ability to be agile, to shift and move things around is extremely important. And being able to launch off of Pad 40 for the first time with crew is also pretty exciting. So I think the teams are ready. We did a detailed launch readiness review today. We've got the vehicle back out on the pad. We're in the Dragon starting to configure things. We've got some cargo to get loaded and put in place and get ready to go. You know, also this week, we did a detailed review of the Polaris Dawn mission where we went over all the details of that mission. We got an extremely detailed look at the Dragon vehicle in free flight for an extended period of time. That information then carries over directly to this mission we're about ready to go do. So we have extra confidence in our Dragon systems. We have extra confidence in our Draco thrusters and the fact that we did some really demanding burns on that mission, and they all worked extremely well. We've made some changes to the dehumidifier system on board Dragon. We got to check those out again on Polaris Dawn, and we brought that forward. We also got a lot of good comments from the Polaris Dawn crew, and we'll make sure we share that with the broader spaceflight community and make sure we all learn together, because again, this is really a team effort moving forward. As Steve talked about, we had excellent weather information, so we were able to complete the dry dress activity and the static fire, and then we knew the winds would be too high for our vehicle to stay out on the pad, so we were able to lower the vehicle, get it into the hangar, safely ride out the storm, and then when the winds passed this morning, we were able to get back out after the winds had passed and we're back in a satisfactory configuration, get the vehicle ready to go fly. Also, as Steve talked about, we had a kind of unique situation where the winds were pretty much out of the east, and it blew some soot back on the Dragon vehicle. We saw that on the Dragon vehicle. We cleaned it off, and then we went ahead and repainted some areas, especially on the radiators. It's important that the radiators radiate heat at the proper way to space. So we had to put some new paint on to get that back to the right emissivity and the right reflectivity and absorptivity of the solar radiation that hits those panels, so they'll reject the heat properly. I think it's kind of neat that some of the paint we use was actually tested on board Space Station as part of the Materials in Space experiment. So we took data from the space station and how this paint degrades over time on station. We were able to use that to make sure we had the right formulated paint to go put on the Dragon to go fly. So here's Space Station helping Dragon to go service space station to transport crews. So again, an ultimate team experience of us sharing data back and forth and moving forward. So on behalf of the SpaceX team and all the folks here in Hawthorne, we're really ready to go support this mission, and we're ready to move forward. And I'll turn it over to Brian, who can give us the latest on the weather.
Thanks, Bill. And a member of the press corps commented that it was a good sign that I was smiling. Well, we'll call it more of a soft smile. We'll leave it at that. But yeah, anyway, you know, it's been a busy few days here, obviously, with the impacts from Helene, which was Hurricane Helene, now tropical depression Helene. And as has been mentioned here, we did avoid the worst of the impacts here on the east coast of Florida. We had some outer rain bands push through with some heavy rains. We did experience tropical storm force winds here with some higher gusts to about the low 60s knots, which is the highest we experienced on any of our towers that go up to 300 feet on the Cape and Kennedy Space Center. And of course, I echo the sentiments of my fellow panelists. We're thinking about the folks that really took the brunt of the storm in the Panhandle through Georgia, South Carolina, all the way up to some of the severe flooding we're seeing in western North Carolina. And that's really where we are seeing right now where the storm is now centered. So it's pushed well to our north. Let's take